and then the Continental Marshals on land.
Right.
Fantastic. Uh, will King John III bring about Nasara Gasara with POTUS Trump? Is this the beginning of the so-called golden age of Aquarius, in which our common law rights and liberties will be returned?
Well, I can tell you that definitely the age of Aquarius is here. It is supposed to be an age when different energies flow from different parts of the galaxy that change um, aspects of our lives. Okay? Now, this is part of world history and world experience and, you know, world calendars and things that go back thousands and thousands of years. Um, so we now know that, yes, the age of Aquarius has arrived. Uh, yes, it is time for new energies to enter our solar system, according to the cosmology that has been built up worldwide over many, many generations. And I certainly hope that's true because we've had enough of the gunk and nastiness and lies and all the rest of it that we've endured. Um, the thing that you need to understand about the British monarchy, and I'm going to put this as flatly as I ever possibly can, is that it was utterly destroyed in 1087 AD with the settlement of the Norman conquest. It became utterly impossible for there to be an English monarch or a British monarch ever again, period. Instead, what you've got is a king or queen of the Commonwealth. King John made his deal with the Pope, and he became king of the Commonwealth. So his lands that he's an overseer of are all church or donated to the church or, you know, for some Commonwealth purpose. And I've explained to you what a Commonwealth is. So in any event, he's not really a king. He's a king of the Commonwealth, acting as an overseer of church lands that belong to the Pope. And, you know, I'm really sorry to have to say that in such blunt terms, but I have to say a lot of things in blunt terms in order for people to understand them. When the Normans came over and conquered England, they didn't intend to ever have to do it again. They made a real clean job of it. They came in and they took a census and they took a inventory of everything down to however many goats there were.
Wow.
When King William got done with his inventory, which was done in two books, the Domesday Book and the Doomsday Book, there was a catalog of everything in Britain that he conquered, down to the gnat's eyelash. And when he was done with it in 1087, 21 years after the conquest, he divided it all up among his barons who had come with him and had assisted him in the conquest. As their reward, they were given their own fiefdoms, and everything that was within that fiefdom became their property, and they were the liege lords and kings of their little principality within England. They were kings. They had land, they had people, they had pasturage, they had woodlots, they had domestic animals, they had wild animals. Everything that you could see in that little principality was theirs, and they ruled as kings in their own right. Okay? So England got divvied up, right and proper, legally, lawfully, with all of the bells and whistles and all the signatures. So that instead of one country being under a king, what you had was this incredible hodgepodge of little kingdoms all over England, all allocated to one or more Norman families. You know, they just came in and they took over, and they took care of everything, and they took care of everyone being apportioned and belonging to. And that is the way it has been since 1087. King John was disinherited by his father, deliberately not given any land. His nickname was Lacklands, okay? He was deliberately disinherited by his father, and so by the time the grandson ran afoul of having no money at all and no land, and was dragging his sorry little troop around from castle to castle, basically begging his relatives for shelter, he made a deal with Pope Innocent to be the overseer of the Commonwealth, which was the church's land that had been donated to the church to raise money to care for the poor. So what you have there is John's lineage. They're not kings. They have no land of their own in England. They're overseers of land and soil for the Pope. So when somebody tells you that the Queen owns, half of the world's land mass, what they're saying is that she's the custodian for the Pope. She works for the Pope. She's an overseer of the Commonwealth for the Pope. And a good deal of the Commonwealth shouldn't be considered Commonwealth at all. A good deal of the Commonwealth has been purloined from legitimate heirs and owners, such as our states and our people. So anyway, this whole idea that there's a British king is nonsense. You have a king of the Commonwealth. Much good may it do you. I mean, there's no sovereignty vested in the king of the Commonwealth. But whatever sovereignty stands in back of the king of the Commonwealth is the Pope and the Holy Roman Empire, such as it may be.
Fantastic. I think that's pretty clear then. Can you please help us understand what American jurisprudence is and the